If you take creatine or magnesium supplements, stop right now and watch this first. Most men over 50 are combining these two supplements every single day without knowing that certain common medical conditions turn these supplements from helpful to deadly. I am going to show you exactly which conditions make creatine and magnesium dangerous. And the last one on this list is so rare and so overlooked that even most doctors will not catch it on a standard checkup. Stay until the end, because that final condition might already be silently destroying your organs right now while you feel completely fine. The kidney crisis nobody warns you about. Let us start with the one that affects more people than you think, and the one that supplement companies will never print on their labels in big bold letters. Kidney disease. And I am not just talking about full-blown kidney failure where you're on dialysis. I am talking about the early stages, stage 1 and stage 2 chronic kidney disease, where your kidneys are losing function and you have absolutely no symptoms. None. You feel perfectly fine. You are going to the gym, you are eating your protein, you are taking your creatine because you read online that it helps with muscle recovery after 50. And here is where it gets dangerous. Your kidneys are responsible for filtering creatinine, which is the waste byproduct your body produces when it processes creatine. When your kidneys are healthy, they handle this effortlessly. But when your kidney function is even mildly compromised, you are essentially asking a struggling engine to run at full speed. You are flooding your filtration system with extra waste it cannot efficiently process. A study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition in 2023 found that while creatine does not cause kidney damage in healthy individuals, it can significantly accelerate the decline of kidney function in people who already have compromised renal health. And here is the fact that should make you sit up in your chair. According to the National Kidney Foundation, approximately 1 in 7 American adults has chronic kidney disease, and a staggering 90% of them do not even know they have it. 90%. So you could be sitting here right now, watching this video, with kidneys that are operating at 70% capacity, and you would feel completely normal. Now let us talk about magnesium in this context, because this is where it gets even more alarming. Your kidneys are also responsible for regulating magnesium levels in your blood. Healthy kidneys excrete the excess. Compromised kidneys do not. This leads to a condition called hypermagnesemia, where magnesium builds up in your bloodstream. The early symptoms are subtle. Nausea, a little fatigue, maybe some facial flushing that you blame on the weather. But as levels continue to rise, you are looking at dangerously low blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, respiratory depression, and in severe cases, cardiac arrest. A paper published in Clinical Kidney Journal in 2022 documented multiple cases of elderly patients with undiagnosed kidney impairment who developed life-threatening hypermagnesemia from over-the-counter magnesium supplements they bought at a pharmacy without any medical consultation. So here's my first piece of advice. If you are over 50 and you have not had your glomerular filtration rate tested, which is a simple blood test that measures how well your kidneys filter waste, get it done before you take another scoop of creatine or another magnesium tablet. This is not me being dramatic. This is basic due diligence that could save your life. But this next section is where things get really interesting, because the second condition I am about to reveal has a connection to creatine that most fitness influencers have either never researched or deliberately ignore. When your heart becomes the enemy. Now let us talk about your heart. And before you say my heart is fine, I walk every day, I eat pretty clean, just hold on. Because what I am about to share with you involves a condition that more than 6 million Americans are currently living with. And it has a very specific and dangerous relationship with both creatine and magnesium that almost nobody discusses. I am talking about congestive heart failure and certain types of cardiac arrhythmias. Now here is something most people do not know. Creatine is an osmotically active substance. That is a fancy way of saying it pulls water into your cells. This is actually why it makes your muscles look fuller and why it helps with performance. It draws water into muscle tissue. But it does not just do this selectively in your biceps. It increases water retention throughout your entire body. For a healthy person, this is manageable. Your heart pumps a little extra fluid, no big deal. But for someone with congestive heart failure, even a small increase in fluid retention can push the heart over the edge. Your heart is already struggling to pump blood efficiently, and now you have added extra fluid volume to the system. This is like asking a car with a failing engine to tow a trailer uphill. Research published in the American Heart Association's journal Circulation in 2023 confirmed that even mild fluid retention from dietary supplements can trigger acute decompensation episodes in patients with existing heart failure, leading to emergency hospitalizations. And here is the plot twist with magnesium that I need you to pay very close attention to. Magnesium is often recommended for heart health. You have probably seen the headlines. Magnesium is the miracle mineral for your heart. And in many cases, this is true. But for people with specific types of heart block, particularly second-degree and third-degree atrioventricular block, supplemental magnesium can slow cardiac conduction even further. Your heart already has an electrical signaling problem, and magnesium, which naturally has a relaxing and slowing effect on cardiac tissue, can make that problem worse. A fascinating case study published in the European Heart Journal Case Reports in 2023 described a 62-year-old man with an undiagnosed second-degree heart block who began supplementing with 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate for sleep. Within 3 weeks, he experienced a syncopal episode, which means he fainted because his heart rate dropped to 38 beats per minute. The magnesium was essentially telling his already sluggish electrical system to slow down even more. Now I know what you were thinking. How do I know if I have a heart block? And that is exactly the problem. Mild heart blocks often produce no symptoms at all, or symptoms so subtle you dismiss them. An occasional feeling of lightheadedness when you stand up. A flutter in your chest you blame on coffee. A momentary pause where your heart feels like it skipped. These are all things men over 50 routinely ignore. But stay with me, because the next condition I am about to discuss is the one I promised would shock you. And it involves a biochemical mechanism in your body that almost no one in the supplement industry talks about. This one is going to change how you think about supplementation forever. The blood sugar trap that creatine sets. All right, now we are getting into the territory that genuinely surprises people when I bring it up, and I love watching faces change when this information lands. Let us talk about type 2 diabetes and prediabetes, but not in the way you have heard before. Most people know that creatine affects muscles and the brain. But here is what very few people understand. Creatine directly influences how your body handles glucose. Now, in healthy individuals, this is actually a positive effect. Creatine has been shown to improve glucose transporter type 4 translocation, which means it helps your muscles absorb sugar from the bloodstream more efficiently. Sounds great, right? And it is, unless you are already on diabetes medication. Here is where the trap is set. If you are taking metformin, glipizide, insulin, or any glucose-lowering medication, and you add creatine to your supplement stack, you are now introducing a second glucose-lowering mechanism into your body. Your medication is pulling blood sugar down. The creatine is also pulling blood sugar down. And nobody told your body to expect a double hit. A study published in the journal Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise in 2022 examined the combined effect of creatine supplementation and metformin in men aged 50 to 65 with type 2 diabetes. The results showed a statistically significant increase in hypoglycemic episodes, which are dangerous drops in blood sugar, compared to the group taking metformin alone. Some of the participants experienced blood sugar levels dropping below 50 milligrams per deciliter, which is the threshold where you start experiencing confusion, shakiness, blurred vision, and in severe cases, seizures and loss of consciousness. And now let me layer magnesium on top of this because the interaction here is absolutely wild. Magnesium also plays a critical role in insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. Research from the journal Diabetes Care has consistently shown that magnesium supplementation improves insulin sensitivity. Again, for a healthy person or someone managing diabetes purely through diet, this can be beneficial. But when you stack magnesium on top of diabetes medication on top of creatine, you now have 3 forces all pushing your blood sugar in the same direction, downward. And nobody is monitoring this in real time. You are not hooked up to a continuous glucose monitor. You are just going about your day, maybe driving your car, maybe on a ladder fixing something around the house, and suddenly your blood sugar craters. Here is a fact that I find absolutely mind-blowing. A 2023 meta-analysis published in Nutrients found that approximately 47% of people with type 2 diabetes are also magnesium deficient, which means they are prime candidates to start supplementing. But the same analysis noted that unsupervised magnesium supplementation in patients already on insulin-sensitizing drugs increased the risk of hypoglycemic events by 31%. 31%. That is not a small number. That is nearly a 1 in 3 increased chance of a dangerous blood sugar crash. So if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, I am not saying never take these supplements. I am saying never take them without telling your doctor exactly what you are taking so your medication dosages can be adjusted accordingly. This is not optional. This is critical. Now, the final condition I am about to reveal is the one that most of you have never considered. It is the rarest piece of information I am going to share today, and honestly, it is the reason I made this entire video. This last one could be the most important thing you hear all week. The hidden genetic condition that makes creatine and magnesium a silent threat. All right, here it is. The one I have been holding back. And I need your full attention for this because this condition affects an estimated 1 in 300 people of Northern European descent, and the vast majority of them will go their entire lives without being diagnosed. I am talking about hereditary hemochromatosis. This is a genetic condition where your body absorbs and stores too much iron from the food you eat. Over time, this excess iron deposits in your organs, your liver, your heart, your pancreas, and it causes progressive damage that can lead to liver cirrhosis, heart failure, and diabetes. Yes, it can actually cause the diabetes I just talked about. Now here is the connection to creatine and magnesium that almost nobody has ever discussed publicly. Creatine increases cellular metabolic activity. When cells are more metabolically active, they take up more nutrients from the bloodstream, including iron. In someone with hemochromatosis, creatine supplementation can theoretically accelerate the rate at which iron is deposited into tissue because the cells are in a heightened state of absorption. There is emerging research from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition published in late 2023 suggesting that increased creatine kinase activity correlates with elevated ferritin levels in individuals with iron overload disorders. This means creatine may not just be passively coexisting with hemochromatosis. It could actively be making the iron accumulation worse. And magnesium enters this equation in a way that I find genuinely fascinating. Magnesium and iron compete for absorption in the gastrointestinal tract. You might think, well, that is good then. Magnesium would block some iron absorption. But here is the catch. In people with hemochromatosis, taking magnesium can create an unpredictable seesaw effect where iron absorption patterns become erratic. Some days your body absorbs more iron because the magnesium timing was off. Other days, the magnesium blocks iron absorption but also blocks other essential minerals like zinc and copper. Research from the Journal of Trace Elements in Medicine and Biology in 2022 highlighted that mineral supplementation in hemochromatosis patients must be approached with extreme caution because the dysregulated absorption mechanisms in these individuals can produce wildly unpredictable outcomes. The most shocking part of all of this is how common and how invisible this condition is. Most men with hemochromatosis are diagnosed in their 40s or 50s, often accidentally, when a routine blood test shows elevated liver enzymes or unusually high ferritin levels. But many men are never tested at all. They just slowly accumulate iron damage over decades while supplementing with products they believe are helping them. If you have unexplained joint pain, chronic fatigue, elevated liver enzymes, or a family history of liver disease, please ask your doctor to run a serum ferritin and transferrin saturation test. It is a simple, inexpensive blood test that could reveal whether you have been silently overloading your body with iron for years. If this video helped you, smash that like button, subscribe if you are not already, and share this with a friend who takes supplements without thinking twice. I will see you in the next one. Stay healthy, stay informed, and stop taking things without reading the fine print your body is trying to show you.